Okay, so we need to talk about it. Everyone and their mamas have heard the story, but the whole Kikihime Stalker situation, it's been taking Twitter by the storm. So I really want to get into this today, and I apologize beforehand if I go on a full-on rant. I will try to Zen mode, but we shall see. To bring people up to speed, Kikihime, she came out saying that there was a very serious stalker situation at Comiket. And within this Twitter space, she was explaining that she went to Comiket because the last time she went was before COVID, back in 2019. So it's been 5 plus years. She wanted to pull up because she loves cosplaying. She's very passionate about it. And she also wanted to meet different fans. So because it was such a long time since she went, she made this big announcement saying that she's at this event, she's wearing this cosplay, and she wants to meet with different fans. Ended up going to this rooftop area because that's where all the action happens. And then eventually got to this designated area where cosplayers could pose and take different pictures. Eventually, she was able to meet up with some fans, and they started to form this line in front of her. Right when the first person was taking their picture, literally, we're talking about minutes here, a random person behind her jumps over the fence, grabs her, and holds her for 10 seconds. And in that moment, Kikihime, her mind went blank. She was just explaining in her Twitter space all these different emotions that she was feeling, whether it was feeling of hatred, of like wanting to kill this dude. She was explaining that she felt like throwing up. And then lastly, just so confused because it was just so fast paced. Everything was happening so quickly. And eventually, she started screaming on top of her lungs because she felt so powerless. Like she literally thought she was gonna die, and she was getting a panic attack. And as a result, naturally, she just started screaming. After what felt like an eternity, they finally pull away this guy from Kikihime. It, I mean, from here, it kind of like downward spiral type of thing because right away she recognized this dude, this fat fuck, hentai ugly bastard looking ass from a different situation, a different stalker situation. And she was like, I fucking know you. You're a stalker from before. Right when she started screaming that, there's staff people coming in and just trying to figure out what they were doing. But the whole mess of situation was they didn't completely separate both Kikihime and also the stalker. And the stalker, he heard that Keekihime was accusing him as a stalker. He was denying it. He's like, I'm not your stalker. I'm not your stalker. And kept screaming that over and over again. This is where the staff really dropped the ball because for some odd reason, they started to ask her some dumb ass questions. Do you want to report this to the police? I don't know why. That was one of the first questions. I would definitely ask, like, are you okay? Do you need water? But yeah, they asked her, like, do you want to press charges? Homegirl is already going through like a panic attack and she's losing her mind. And amidst all this craziness, she's like, I do want to press charges because, like, this guy, he is a repeat offender and stalked me from before. So I do want to press charges. And then right when she responded with that, the staff was like, oh, that means like you have to leave the venue. Like, is that okay? Which is a really weird response, in my opinion, because if someone's about to be sexually assaulted and they've been through like a traumatic event, they will bring the first responder to that person. You don't send the victim out into the wild. I just don't understand. She was like processing this and was like kind of hesitant because, as I mentioned before, it's been 5 years since she went to this event. So she's like, oh shit, like if I leave, I probably can't come in and I really want to interact with my fans. With her processing that, she was like, no, like I gotta lay down the hammer. I do want to continue on with these charges. And then the staff was like, oh, okay. Oh, by the way, we lost him. And what's worse is that the police, they finally arrive on the scene and they're fucking useless as well. They were having a conversation, and eventually their solution was, okay, we lost a dude. If you want go through with this, you need to go to the embassy to report him. Who the fuck? Why the fuck? Let me get this straight. You a foreigner. You getting harassed. You are almost at the verge of losing your shit. And the best response you can give them is, oh, we're sorry about your situation. Go report it to the embassy. Have you been to these government official places, man? They are useless. And the embassy, the last thing they're going to be taking care of is someone being stalked. They got 100,000 things to be worrying about. They are not suited to handle these stalker situations. So eventually, towards the end of the Twitter space, she was like, all right, the only solution to all of this is to hire a legit bodyguard when I go to these different events. So I can take this story in many different directions, but the first thing we obviously have to address is the peril of socialism. So within this Twitter space, Keekihime, she gets into the story where way back when she used to do like Nico Nico, which is like the Japanese exclusive streaming service, she was a lot smaller back then, and she would do these really intimate meet and greets with her fans. And because she was such a small creator during that time, these meetouts, they ended up being like 9 to 10 participants. And apparently, this fat fuck was at this event, and I can relate to this as well. Just being a creator in the beginning, you kind of want to establish those early bridges, because the fact that you're coming out to this meet and greet when I'm pretty much nobody, you're very appreciative and you want to cherish these fans. In that process of Keekihime cherishing and showing mad love to these early supporters, this ugly bastard thought that Keekihime liked her romantically. And I think this is kind of where he started to create these fake narratives, develop this really unhealthy parasocialism where it got to this point. Now he's stalking Keekihime at these different events. Yeah, I just hope everyone stays safe. Like, this is like freaking insane. And the most frustrating thing about the Keekihime situation is that the fact that she has to go to this extent where she has to relive her trauma, talk about it for 1 hour after hours of it just happening. Like, it's so fresh, it's so raw, and she still had to be open about it because the people involved, the people that are supposed to protect her, are so useless. I give props to her because throughout the whole Twitter space, she was so strong. I don't think she cried at all. Her voice never cracked. She just went full steam, like, this is what happens. This is my story. And part of it is her being very strong, but I think there's definitely an element where she's just jaded about the whole situation. Despite just everything that's going on, now she has to deal with a repeat stalker out in the wild that would pull some stupid shit like this, like just jump out of nowhere and grab you. People need to realize like how serious of the situation could have been. It could have been 100% like a perfect blue Oshinoko situation where this mentally ill person, instead of just grabbing her, what if he had a knife? What if he had a weapon? And the capability that he had access to her for those 10 to 15 seconds, bro, she could have lost her life. And this would have been a much different story. I've been freaking grilling them this whole video, the police and the convention staff. But again, why the fuck are you asking the victim all these stupid ass questions? Like, if you're in a position of power, there's a protocol you gotta follow. I understand that there's the craziness of hundreds of thousands of con-goers running around, but there has to be a protocol where it's like, oh shit, this person has been assaulted. We gotta take them to a secure location and handle it offline. Instead of freaking having your stalker right in front of you, feet away, still interacting with you after you've been attacked. It's freaking insane. But honestly, like, I really hope they find this creep. I just hope that nothing more serious will come out of this. And if anything, people are more diligent. People are more aware that there's fucking crazy psychos out there trying to harm regular ass people. And we as a community, we gotta step together in solidarity to ensure that people know that this shit cannot be tolerated at all. It's been a crazy year. Peace out, y'all. I'll see you guys next week.